90 years later, the kidnapping of Charles Lindbergh Jr. and the trial of the century that followed continues to intrigue the world and spark debate over its results. Here at New Jersey Criminal Podcast, we're taking on the story of the Lindbergh baby kidnapping and the different theories behind whether or not Bruno Richard Hauptmann was indeed responsible for this famous and heinous New Jersey crime. To do so, I spoke with two different authors to hear their opinions on who truly kidnapped Charles Lindbergh Jr. But first, here are the facts behind the kidnapping. On March 1st, 1932, at 9 o'clock p.m., Charles Lindbergh Jr., the 20-month-old son of the famous aviator, was kidnapped from the Lindbergh home near Hopewell, New Jersey. As the FBI's website notes, a search of the premises was made and a ransom note demanding $50,000 was found, as well as a ladder leading up to the window. A second ransom note was received by Colonel Lindbergh 5 days later, postmarked from Brooklyn, New York, in which the ransom demand was increased to $70,000. After the third note, a retired school principal, Dr. John F. Condon, became the Lindberghs' go-between. And when all was said and done, Dr. Condon received 13 ransom notes. He also met with an unidentified man who called himself John at a cemetery to discuss payment of the ransom money. There, John agreed to furnish a token of the child's identity, and the baby's sleeping suit was received days later. On April 2nd, 1932, Condon again met with an individual he believed to be John and gave him $50,000 in ransom money in exchange for the 13th ransom note, containing instructions to the effect that the kidnapped child could be found on a boat near Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts. The following day, an unsuccessful search for the baby was made near Martha's Vineyard. However, on May 12, 1932, the body of the kidnapped baby was found accidentally, partly buried, badly decomposed, about 4.5 miles southeast from the Lindbergh home. The baby's head was crushed, there was a hole in the skull, and some body parts were missing. The body was positively identified and cremated the next day, and the coroner's examination showed that the child had been dead for almost 2 months, and that the death was caused by a blow to the head. 6 months after the kidnapping, on September 19, 1934, Bruno Richard Hauptmann was arrested at his house in Bronx, New York, after being caught using gold certificates that fit the serial numbers as the ones that were included in the ransom money. Hauptmann was identified as a German carpenter. A $20 gold ransom certificate was found on his person, and $13,000 in ransom certificates were found hidden in the garage of Hauptmann's residence. Shortly after his apprehension, specimens of Hauptmann's handwriting resulted in a positive match to the handwriting in the ransom notes. However, it was uncovered later that the FBI's handwriting analysis was deeply flawed. Hauptmann's trial began on January 3rd, 1935, and lasted 5 weeks. The jury came back with a guilty verdict of murder in the first degree. The sentence, death by the electric chair. Yet, 90 years later, some are still trying to clear Hauptmann's name, while others say he was not alone in the crime. Tune in to this series of NJ Criminal Podcast for more episodes about the Bruno Hauptmann and the Lindbergh kidnapping.